Hey everyone, I'm super excited to be talking to you about our very unique puppy raising program that we developed about 2 years ago, so approximately 2023. And the need for the program or the idea came from multiple places. One experience or area of my life that I'm constantly drawing from or pulling from is my horse world and my horse experience and things that work in the horse training world that can also work with dogs. And so one cool thing about the horse world is you can purchase like a finished horse. So somebody else will break your horse to ride and teach it all the things it needs to know so that it's safe, and then you buy it, because there aren't very many people that know how to do that properly and fairly. So a lot of horses can be messed up during that process, of course, if things aren't done correctly. It's the same for dogs. And so most people don't truly understand what dogs need when they're puppies and or how to do it, even if they understand what they need. And so what's happening is a lot of people are accidentally or unintentionally creating these behavior issues because they're doing things incorrectly with their puppies. And so then they go a couple years down the road and have an adult dog that has all these behavior issues, when most behavior issues can be prevented if things are done right in the puppy stages. Obviously, people adopt adult dogs and things like that. So there are some reasons we're still going to see behavior issues. But if we can teach people what to do with puppies, at least when we get them for training, they're not trying to bite us or fighting with other dogs, or they're not super afraid of everything. And so my thought was, hey, I could do that for dogs. I could take puppies from 8 to 12 weeks old when they're the most impressionable, and it's the most important period, in my opinion, in their training life, is to set them up on the right foot or paw and lay a super solid foundation so that even if the client takes home a 16-week-old puppy after a program and they do everything wrong, at least that puppy has a really good foundation and base that it can hopefully rely on for the rest of its life. Now, obviously, if somebody brings home a puppy and they do everything wrong, it is going to undo some of the work that we do with them. However, it is going to make somewhat of a lasting impression on that dog, and it's the best chance they have at being successful in life. Plus, through that process, our clients bring home anywhere from like a 14 to 20-week-old puppy. It's fully off-leash trained, it's potty trained, it's crate trained, and it listens. And so it's just easy. And so it's almost impossible for them to undo everything, because it's easy to maintain what we did. We just explained to them what the new rules are, how to handle the puppy, what the expectations are, all the do's and the don'ts. And once they see that 16-week-old puppy that is balanced and behaved and listened, they are totally sold on whatever they need to do to maintain it, because it's going to be the easiest puppy they've ever had. So typically, it's pretty easy to convince people to be consistent with the puppies when they go home. And typically when the puppies go home, they test fewer boundaries than adult dogs do, because they don't have a reward history with getting away with making wrong choices. And they don't have a reward history with not having to listen to the owners. So it's really cool because they go home and they're generally pretty easy. Now, obviously, we have had some dogs that do our puppy program and then they go home and the owners do nothing with them that they should be doing. And yes, it can undo some of what we've done, and they can absolutely still create bad behaviors in those dogs. However, they still tend to be very balanced dogs. And when I say balanced in this scenario, I mean they're confident, they're social with people, they're social with dogs, and they have learned at least some impulse control. So even if the owners undo a lot of our work, because that foundation is there, if they bring them back for a few refresher sessions, we can usually get it back fairly easily. The other cool thing about the puppies is when they come back as adults for boarding and such, they're always the most well-behaved dogs in the kennel. So it's just been a really cool program. So the background with the horse training stuff and understanding the value in selling a broke or trained horse to somebody that isn't capable of doing those things helped me come up with this idea for the puppies. And I also wanted to try to get people to bring us their dogs before they have significant behavior problems, because as you will learn, once an adult dog has a significant behavior issue, it's really hard to fix that. And most oftentimes we're not even fixing it. We're just managing it or making it a little bit better. So if we can prevent that from happening, that would be amazing, because then again, we get dogs in for training that maybe are unruly and wild, but they're at least balanced in their temperament. We wanted to incentivize people to bring us their cute little innocent puppies before they start to have issues. And so we made them just a little bit more cost effective than our adult dog programs. It is more work. However, I have found the value in doing this. Plus, people who do our puppy raising program just rave about us. They're the ones that give us the most positive feedback, because again, they still get the cute puppy phase, but the dog listens and it's potty trained, and they don't have to go through 90% of the frustrating things of the puppy stage. And so those clients, they refer us constantly, and they typically say, we'll never get another dog and not do this. So they're going to be repeat clients. So I'm okay taking a little bit less of a profit on those programs because there's so much value in it. And so I just think it's really cool. People have loved it. It's been wildly popular. So I just really want to share my knowledge and experience in this area, because I think if more trainers did this or more breeders did this, we would have fewer dogs with behavior issues, because these puppies are just being set up for success. And so it's important to educate people on the proper things to do and the things they shouldn't do. One thing that really helped me understand how difficult it can be to reverse behavior problems is just seeing the difference in puppies when they've had this foundation compared to when they haven't. A good example that I can come up with in my personal experience is we got 4 golden retriever puppies from the same litter from a breeder, and we were going to train and sell them, and we had 2 that were going to be therapy dogs. So we got these 4 puppies at 8 weeks old. They went right into our puppy raising program at 12 weeks old. So we'd had them for about a month. The breeder reached out to me and said, hey, we had this one puppy get returned. The owner found out she's severely allergic. Could you take the puppy and find a home for it? And I was like, well, sure, that'll be great. It's only 12 weeks old, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, so we get the puppy, and I was like, what the heck? Like, the difference in that puppy compared to the other 4 was astronomical. And I'm not talking just about like a temperament difference. It was a trainability and bitability difference. So the new puppy was defiant, resistant. She was timid and scared, because I'm assuming she was probably coddled and babied, and just much more difficult to train for about that first week. So it took me about a week to really get through to her and say, like, hey, these are the expectations and this is what we're doing. And I wasn't doing it any differently than with the other 4 I got at 8 weeks. But because she had had that month period from 8 to 12 weeks of no expectations, no leadership, no boundaries, no consequence. And then on the other side, probably over babying, being coddled, too much love and affection, and just reinforcing all the wrong things because she's cute right now. And so her first week of training was more uncomfortable for her than her litter mate's first week of training, because her litter mates just learned from day 1, or eight weeks day 1, that this is what we're doing. And she was never allowed to make bad choices without a consequence. And so she was always getting feedback. She was also getting, or the other 4, and they were also getting positive feedback too. So not only giving them feedback for when they're doing something they shouldn't, but we were always reinforcing good choices too, with food and praise. So those 4 puppies got so much feedback for right choices and wrong choices, whereas the new puppy wasn't getting that. And it was so crazy, because everybody here saw the difference, and they're like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. And I'm like, man, 1 month. So when people say like, oh, what damage can be done, it depends on the stage of the puppy's life, and it depends on what's being done and what's not. And that's just one example. And so now when I see adult dogs with behavior issues, I think back to that example, and I'm like, this adult dog that has aggression issues is 5, and a human unintentionally did so much, I'll say, damage in a month, how can we undo 5 years of that? Plus, if that was imprinted on the puppy during their puppy stages, you can't take all of that away. And so the puppy program has just shown me so much what dogs truly need in the beginning stages of their lives to grow up and be balanced, successful dogs. And the more balanced the dog is, the better life they have, because they are more comfortable in their own skin. They're not afraid of the world. And so my mission in life is to just help create more balanced puppies by educating people on what they need and trying to encourage other trainers to do the same. And breeders. And so one reason for this puppy course too is I hope that we can just educate more dog owners on what they need to do when they bring a puppy home. I hope we can educate more breeders and more veterinarians and more trainers that don't have puppy expertise, because this stuff is so important. And it also makes our lives easier when we're working with balanced dogs. It also makes veterinarians' lives easier because the dogs are handleable and they're safe. It makes it easier for groomers who are grooming them. It also makes those visits less stressful for the dog because they've been desensitized to things, they've been held accountable. So it's just a really cool foundational program, and we've just seen tremendous value in it. And the puppies that come back, several months or a year after their program, it's just really cool to see them thriving and hear the feedback from their owners that this is the best dog they've ever had and that they will hands down do the puppy program again. So it just kind of came from a multitude of things kind of in the dog world, my personal experience, trends I was seeing in the dog world where there's so many more behavior issues now and people just don't understand what dogs need to be successful, and they accidentally do things the wrong way. So in a nutshell, our puppy raising program helps owners skip the messy parts of owning a puppy, and they still get to enjoy the puppy stage when it comes home from training, but it's potty trained, crate trained, it comes back when it's called, it has impulse control, it's not excessively vocalizing, it's nice and balanced, it can settle. And so owners they can't stop talking about the puppy program, because how is this possible that this 16-week-old puppy could just be easy? And at the same token, when people purchase a finished or trained puppy from us, they say the same thing. They bring it home and it's not even like having another obligation or an inconvenience, because the dog is so easy. So it's just been really validating to hear that, because puppies can learn so fast. They're like sponges. And if you get lucky enough to get those young puppies, you can forever make an impact on their lives. And it's just really fun for us to have clients who really enjoy their dogs and their puppies, and it's just an easy dog. So anyways, I hope that you learned something from our puppy course, and I'm really excited to be sharing this knowledge and information with you. It took me 10 years to compile all this, and so I'm just letting you have it so that you can hopefully be successful in whatever your endeavors are in the dog world.